Okay, so this is a movie review of Spider-Man Brand New Day. I kind of did this already, but I'm going to do a little bit of a long form one because I feel like it would be fun to do. So the movie starts off with, I actually don't remember how it starts off. Yes, I do. He's fighting a whole bunch of villains. All the villains you see in the commercial, he's fighting those people. It's like a montage. It's not really a one-to-one to one-to-one. You get to see Tombstone for like 5 seconds. It's cool to see him, but you know, sometimes when you see these villains, you're kind of expecting somewhat of a longer fight. But I understand that like it's a 2 hour and 45 minute movie, maybe. I don't remember the time frame or limit, but it's a movie that is that long, and you can't fit everything in there. So it starts off with that. It's cool to see all these villains. It's cool that they put I think it was the first Spider-Man cover. Maybe not. Anyway, it's the one where he's like swinging and he's got the person, and they eventually put that in the movie, right? And he's currently like the city knows him. They know he does things. He can walk around in his suit, and nobody's like, oh my God, it's Spider-Man. They're just like, oh, look at that. Actually, they don't even acknowledge it half the time, which I think is kind of neat to show that like he is ingrained in the city. He is New York City. He's overworked. He's really overworking himself. He's always working with the police. I forgot her name, but she has 2 kids. There's a little bit of hint. There's a little hint of Miles Morales there, but I don't think it's really gonna mean anything. Anyway, he's working with the police a lot. He's trying to fight bad guys. Blah blah blah. But he's overworking himself, and it's really affecting his body, and it's really affecting how his spider senses are manifesting in his own body. So he'll pass out, and then in the commercial, he's like hanging upside down in a bunch of webs, right? So that was one thing. Another thing is his webbing. It starts to come out of him organically instead of through the little web shooter he makes, so that's pretty interesting. Let's see, I can't remember everything that kind of made him screwy, but those are some of the things that like really affected him. So, okay, so yeah, those are some of the things that are affecting him. And then there's that scene that you see in the commercial where the Punisher is chasing a big tank going through the city. And Spider-Man shows up, and he's essentially like, go home, Frank. And Frank's like, no, I'm trying to deal with this. And Spider-Man's like, no, go home. Remember what I did? And I forgot. They were making like this joke about like how Spider-Man saved Frank in some sort of mission that happened. I don't remember, off screen. Anyway, so Spider-Man's stopping that, and he opens it up, and this is the old lady that you see in the commercial as well. She doesn't remember what's going on because her mind, the mind jumping thing that Jean Grey does, that happened. So the old lady went from one person to the other, to the other, to the other. Spider-Man's like, what the heck? And then Jean Grey tries to go into Spider-Man's mind, and then he kicks her out. And then it's, and that's kind of it. I will say, actually I will not say, I won't explain, I'll respond to, there's this whole thing where people are like, is Jean Grey a bad person? Because they're like, she's not a bad person, she didn't kill anybody. But then there's that conversation of like, I think there was an old guy who was walking in the street, that was her, she was acting as him, and then he gets hit by a car, or a bus, or van, something. I would say he's dead. So does that make her a bad person? Yeah, I would say so. Anyway, I don't care what happened to your sister, but you don't get to mind jump through people, cause billions of dollars in destruction, all because you want revenge on one guy. I feel like she really could have just shown up to that place, controlled some people within the building, killed the guy, and then moved on with her life. This whole situation of plowing through the city with all this different shit, I don't think was necessary. But anyway, so yeah, so Spider-Man, he's got to figure this shit out. He doesn't really figure it out, but instead he's also battling this thing where he's trying to get in contact with Ned and MJ. 4 years have passed, actually. There's a I don't know what year it is within the movie, but 4 years have passed. He's watching Ned and MJ enter college and graduate college, and he's jealous. He's not really jealous. He's more sad that he can't be there with him, right? So I can't remember actually now if he wasn't living next to him, but anyway, he showed up to a party that they were at, trying to like kind of see his friends, or what he had, and he's really sad because MJ's dating some other person, and he's like, oh my gosh, he doesn't remember me. Anyway, to cut through all that, the whole mind jumping thing is still happening. Spider-Man's also still dealing with the effects of overworking himself. This time he goes to Bruce Banner. Bruce Banner's like, hey, what's up? And Spider-Man's like, do you know how to do this? Where you essentially cut off all the bad things about yourself and only keep the good parts. And Bruce Banner's like, yeah, you can do that, but like it might screw you up. And Spider-Man's like, okay, well, whatever, I'll try it anyway. Because Bruce Banner was kind of doing that with his whole like Ben 10 arm watch looking thing. But essentially, Spider-Man tried it, kind of screwed him up. And at some point later in the movie, he kind of figures out who Jean Grey is. Her whole backstory is her sister was kidnapped, and then her sister was killed by the, I want to call them the Demolition, but I forgot what the group was called. But yeah, she got destroyed she was killed by the Demolition or something, I don't know. So yeah, Spider-Man figures this out. He's kind of he and Punisher are like kind of in the middle of trying to kind of fight Jean Grey, but then Jean Grey uses her powers to kind of unlock Hulk, and this is where you see, they call it Grey Hulk, I'm not entirely sure, but essentially it's Rage Hulk where he's destroying shit and all that other stuff, right? And it is a really cool sequence, I would say. Spider-Man defeats him. Jean Grey takes over Punisher's mind for a minute. And that was kind of it for the whole Hulk scene. It wasn't very long. I wasn't expecting it to be very long, maybe. But I also was just like, I wonder what they're gonna do with this. But to cut back a little bit, so Spider-Man essentially saves Mary Jane because Jean Grey was gonna use her mind, and it does end up using her mind. And then essentially she jumps to another person, leaving Mary Jane, and then then Spider-Man's like, hey, I know you don't know this, but I'm essentially Peter Parker, you know me, I knew you, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, I'm sorry, I don't know you, and I don't love you. And he's like, oh my God. And in that movie, I would say that that's probably the most, out of all the Spider-Man movies, I think that's probably the most emotional cut scene that they've ever had. I think one of the other ones was when Gwen Stacy got her neck snapped. That one was like, Jesus. And then I think for the original Spider-Man trilogy, I think Aunt May knowing that her grandson, nephew, I don't know how families work. Essentially knowing that Peter Parker's Spider-Man without actually having to say it. But then also believing in him and telling him to believe in himself. So I think those are like the three, within each Spider-Man trilogy, these are like the three most emotional points within them. Anyway, back to the current movie. So he swings her home. She's like, oh my God, I'm sorry. She doesn't say I'm sorry, but it's a whole awkward thing. It's real sad. I don't love you. I loved you. Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, to cut through all the other bullshit, because this video's long enough, Spider-Man shows up to the demolition place, and the black guy, I don't know what his name is, he's in the commercial, he's a bad guy, he's the one who took Jean Grey's sister, locked her up, used her powers. I think he ended up killing her, and then he captures Jean Grey, and he starts to use her powers. He wants to see how far her mind thing can jump, and I think it's like 33 feet. Anyway, yeah, so he's using and abusing her. He's like, she's locked up. Her powers are in his control, not her control. And then essentially Spider-Man shows up, fights the Hand, and he doesn't defeat her. He essentially talks her down. She jumps into his memory or something like that, and then Aunt May is talking to Peter and her, but she's mainly talking to her because she's trying to find her own family, and essentially she figures out that she has, if at any point in time, if she wants a family, she's got Peter Parker, right? So that whole thing. Aunt May teaching Aunt May lessons. Anyway, she jumps out of the mind. He gets her to just kind of not really let it go, but like stop being an ass. That's the wrong word. To stop not mind controlling. I don't know what the term is, but she freezes time also at some point. So he gets her to unfreeze time. And then Frank Castle takes a shot trying to kill her, ends up shooting Peter. Peter's in the hospital. Cut to Peter in the hospital. He wakes up. Frank is really sad about it because he's like, oh my God, I shot you. I didn't mean it. And Peter's like, dude, it's fine. And then Peter kind of realizes after this whole thing that like he needs to take a break. He needs to just kind of ask for help if he needs it because he hasn't been asking for help this whole time. And then you see the ending scene where he's walking through the crowd of people. And people are like cheering for Spider-Man, but what they're doing is cheering for Frank Castle because he put on the Spider-Man mask and he's like, hey, I'm up, blah, 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 to keep the whole identity thing a secret. Anyway, so that's that. That's the movie. It's really good. I like it. I think most people would like it. I'm trying to think, would this be a movie that I would have on in the background and not pay attention to, but know that it's a good movie? So at any point would I watch, if I were to start paying attention, I would watch it? Yeah, I'd say so. It's a good background movie. And then end of the movie, Spider-Man Peter walks into a coffee shop, whatever. He sees Ned. He's like, hello, I'm Peter Parker. You don't know me, blah, blah, blah. But then they start doing the handshake. Ned remembers the handshake. And Peter's like, what the fuck, you know? And then Ned's like, Peter? And then it ends. So that's all you got for the movie. Thumbs up. And that's it.